Are you bold enough to ask for extra ketchup? Or to ask your crush out on a date? Are you that bold enough to start your business or to ask a raise at your work?
I, Handsome Joey, proudly announce that, no, I am not bold. Even if I risk my life to ask for ketchup, waiter gets shot.
Well, you're in the right place, because with the end of this video, you will end up being bold. Let's start with a story of Hu Sayang, who locked him up for 7 years to read books.
Once in 1983, there was a man who lived in books. One day, his wife, all in tears, said to him,
"Look here, my bookman. What is the use of all your book reading? I have spent my youth in washing others' clothes, and I can't afford for myself."
Without uttering a single word, he closed his book, stood up, and went out of doors. Arriving in the heart of the city, he stopped a passing gentleman.
Hello, my friend. Who is the richest man in the town?
Don't you know Beyonce, the millionaire? Have you came out of cave? Look, that's his glittering house.
Our bookman then marched towards the mansion, entered the big gate, flung the guest room, and said,
I need 10,000 yang to commerce my business, and I want you to lend me that money.
All right, sir. Where shall I send the money?
To the Ansong market.
Very well. You'll get the money there.
If I had gone there, he would have kicked me in my... But why Beyonce gave that huge amount so easily?
Why?
Even though he was in ragged clothes, he spoke clearly to the point without a betraying shame. Such a man is either self-confident or mad.
In short, Mr. Hung's boldness impressed Beyonce.
And here I am, who even sweats to ask last slice of pizza at a party.
You're not alone. Most of us don't do bold actions because we fear it might offend others.
That's good, because that's caring for others.
The reason behind not being bold is not that we care others. In fact, it is the opposite. We are really self-absorbed. We are worried about how others perceive us. We constantly try to leave positive impression, fearing they might leave us. And that's because we are conditioned like that. We are taught to go along with crowd, and we have to change this.
Why to change?
Because if you are not bold enough, people in this planet won't let you live. In this cruel world, once people spot a timid hair in you, lion in them pops out, and you will be pushed around without mercy. And that leads to our first point to remember. Lion circles hesitant prey. So, be bold.
But I am an introvert.
Only few are born bold. Rest have to build it. Even Napoleon had to cultivate this habit on the battlefield. Casanova too developed this to win hearts.
Not on cards.
As well as Christopher Columbus developed boldness and created an image of Grand Admiral of the ocean. As we are not perfect, boldness may sometime create problems. For example, a smartphone has battery issues. But problems created by boldness can be disguised by even greater boldness. For example, increasing the price of that smartphone. Comment down the brand's name that is bold enough to do this.
Okay, I'm ready now. Tell me, where is the institution to train me that boldness?
The world itself is the greatest institution. You just have to start practicing. And here is a tip. Start small. Don't be too bold to catch a shark. First go for a guppy. And one of the guppy is negotiation. Particularly those negotiations in which you have to set your price. For example, grocery shopping. Negotiation is like dating. If you don't ask for what you want, you will never get it. And when entering negotiation, go further than you planned. Set your price higher than moon, and you will be surprised when you get it. Next time, we will go for stars.
What if they can't digest our higher price? Shall I lower my price?
Your price?
No, not that. I meant to lower my ask.
Don't lower your price, just do as Lustig did.
Who Lustig?
In May of 1925, the Deputy Director General, Monsieur Lustig, invited 5 scrap metal dealers to the Hotel Crillon.
Gentlemen, this is an urgent matter that requires complete secrecy. The government is going to tear down the Eiffel Tower.
That was a time of financial crisis, and government had to spend millions to fix Eiffel Tower. Even citizens wanted to say goodbye to it. So this announcement made a sense to the businessmen.
Gentlemen, you're all invited to make the government an offer, and that too within 4 days.
When businessmen calculated profit from this deal, they were as excited as a kid in a candy store. Several days later, one of them, Monsieur P, received notice that his bid was the winner. To secure the deal, he had to arrive at the hotel within 2 days, bearing a check of 250,000 francs. Monsieur's eyes popped out of the head, but by the time he arrived at the suite, he started to have some doubts.
Why meet in a hotel instead of a government building? Is this a scam?
When Monsieur entered the hotel,
My wife wants a fur coat, and my low salary is not enough for that.
in Monsieur's previous encounters, all government officials needed that grease for their hand. So when Lustig asked for bribe, Monsieur got a huge relief as the situation was normal. Then they happily settled the deal. Few days later, Monsieur got turned on. Monsieur's mind got turned on, and he began to have some doubts. A few telephone calls made it clear that there was no Deputy Director General Lustig, and there were no plans to destroy the Eiffel Tower. Monsieur never went to police because he knew what kind of reputation he would get if words got out.
Haha, Monsieur got pranked, and that too without camera.
If Lustig tried to sell the Arc de Triomphe, a bridge over the Seine, or a statue of Balzac, no one would have believed him. But the Eiffel Tower was just too large to be part of a con job. In fact, it was so improbable that Lustig returned to Paris 6 months later and resold the same Eiffel Tower to a different dealer and for a higher price, equivalent to over $1,500,000. And here we learned. Largeness deceives the human eye. As like a magician's act, largeness distracts us and we can't catch any deception afoot. So arm yourself with bigness. So arm yourself with bigness and boldness. And if your sucker has suspicions, do as Lustig did. Instead of backing down or lowering price, simply raise your price higher.
Finally got the answer. But wait, how raising price works better than lowering?
If Lustig had lowered his price, Monsieur would have been sure of his doubts. Because lowering the price usually indicates weakness. And when Lustig asked for more, Monsieur was satisfied. As we have came so far, will you subscribe? Wait, I will give you second option. Hey you, smash that subscribe button. Now tell me, which one was better? Have you understood something? When you take time to think, you create a gap.
Yes, I needed gap to park.
No, not that. I'm talking about empty gaps that comes when you hesitate. And that gap allows your listeners time to think. And when they think, doubt springs in their mind. On the other hand, boldness destroys such gaps. But remember, boldness must be sudden and unpredictable. And Ivan is its best teacher. Why aren't you asking who is Ivan?
Because I know it's story time.
In 1533, there was a young prince named Ivan. His father died when he was only 3 years old. On the other side of this story, there were the boyars who wanted to snatch the throne of Russia. And when King died, they saw their chance and they poisoned Helena. No, not a random woman, but the queen who was still alive. I am repeating, she was alive. Don't blame the poison. At the age of 8, Ivan was now a despised orphan who roamed the palace, hungry, ill-clothed, and often hiding from the boyars who treated him terribly. They would make him dress up in royal robes and sit on the throne, then laugh at him and shoo him away. Ivan had one friend in the palace, a boyar named Vorontsov, who consoled and advised him. Boyars then beat his friend and banished him from Moscow. Throughout all this, Ivan maintained a strict silence. The boyars thought Ivan was now a terrified idiot. On the evening of December 29, 1543, Ivan convinced the prince to come in his room. When the prince arrived, surprise, room was filled with guards. Ivan then pointed finger at the prince, ordered guards to kill him and throw his body in the royal kennel. The boyars now stood in mortal terror of this 13-year-old kid.
The world is full of boyars, men who despise you, fear your ambition, and swim in the pond of jealousy. When you show boldness in front of such boyars, they will act to thwart you. If boyars were aware of Ivan's boldness, they would have killed him. So in such situations, do as Ivan did. First lay low, act humble. And when time comes, strike like a ninja and end it at one final shot. With such a bold move, you set a precedent. They will be in terror of your next strike. And here we learned. Boldness strikes fear, and fear creates authority. But if you enter boldness with half confidence, you will set up obstacles in your own path. When problem arises, you will be confused. And that leads to even more problems. Because going halfway with half a heart digs the deeper grave. And when a person becomes confident and bold, he is easily highlighted in the society.
Means I will become a celebrity now. But how?
Attack the well-known celebrity to be celebrity.
What's that? How that? Why that?
In 1514, Pope Leo X received a gift from the King of Portugal, a large elephant named Hanno. The Pope loved Hanno, he adored it, cared it, and showered with huge gifts, bigger than Hanno. But despite his care, Hanno became ill, and it died. To console himself, Pope called a great painter named Raphael and ordered him to create a life-size painting of Hanno. A few days later, a pamphlet circulated throughout Rome entitled The Last Will and Testament of the Elephant Hanno.
Pietro Aretino, a 22-year-old writer from a poor background, achieved a massive fame by this event. Everyone in Rome rushed to find out who this daring young man was. Even the Pope was amused by his audacity and ended up giving him a job in the papal service. The Aretino strategy is simple. When you are as small as David was, you must find a Goliath to attack. The larger the target, the more attention you gain. The bolder the attack, the more you stand out from the crowd and more they admire you. And here we learnt, boldness separates you from the herd.
Is it really so easy to be celebrity? It was easier than to be a bathroom singer.
But life filled with boldness would offend too many people. Be clear that boldness is a tactical instrument which should only be used at the right moment. Plan, think ahead, and make the final element bold enough. Okay, that's for now. Comment what you learned today. Until next time, stay bold, stay confident. And to learn more, to earn more power, stay subscribed. So set a world record on smashing subscribe button.